Good Tuesday evening, Internet friends. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett here in the King 5 newsroom. We've got our first significant winter storm of the season moving in, and as such, have issued our first alert of the season. In fact, I got my fancy jacket on today here just so you can tell, and I got the big banner up behind me. But, you know, as far as winter storms go, this isn't really all that big of a deal. But because it is the first one, we are expecting past impacts. We've seen widespread and heavy rain tonight, and it's going to get a little windy, especially up towards Whatcom and Skagit counties as we see some of those Fraser outflow winds. We're going to cover all that here. In fact, let's just start right now. We'll tell you what the details are here. Our first alert will last overnight into Wednesday morning. Again, we've already seen some active weather across the region. It looks like that will continue overnight, especially up in the mountains where we're going to see it convert over to snow. Snow levels, well, we'll talk more about that in a moment as well, but there could be past impacts at Snoqualmie. For sure there will be past impacts at Stevens Pass. So we're talking about the Cascades above 3,000 feet, and as I mentioned earlier, past impacts are expected. In fact, here we are at 7:38 on this Tuesday evening, and you can see that snow is falling and sticking at Stevens Pass right now. Seeing a lot of white on the road there. Here's how it looked earlier this afternoon. We went on the Stevens Pass cam, and you could see flurries flying, and some of that already starting to stick to the trees. So this could be the beginning of building some snowpack, not only for our mountain resorts, but also this could really help build snowpack in general. So here's what radar looks like at 7:30 on this Tuesday night. Again, well, you see the greens. In fact, we'll just zoom in there and show you a couple things. That's like light to moderate rain. Where you see the yellows, that's going to be moderately heavy rain, and then every once in a while you see some of those oranges embedded there. Those are going to be pockets of heavy rain that will continue to move from south to north up the Interstate 5 corridor for the rest of the night. In fact, seeing some steady and heavy rain right up towards Blaine and the Canadian border as we speak up towards northern Whatcom County. Again, that'll continue to be a thing through the rest of the night. Meanwhile, taking a look down towards the south and the southwest interior, seeing some heavy rain that's moving through Chehalis, and yep, that's the southern portion of the Interstate 5 corridor. It's been active for the better part of the last 2 or 3 hours. Will continue to stay that way through the evening as that moisture wraps around the low that's sitting right off the coast. Then as far as the mountains go, you notice it's got a little curdled there. Well, that's kind of what we call a rain-snow mix. We've been seeing rain that's been falling up at Snoqualmie Pass and snow, as we just saw a moment ago, up towards Stevens Pass. So here as we take a look at Hayek, you can see the roads are still wet. They're not white, they're wet. Big differentiation there. This is 7:43 on Tuesday evening. Current snow levels are sitting right around 3,500 feet. Snoqualmie Pass is around 3. Now those snow levels will drop down to pass level. In fact, they'll even get down below pass level overnight tonight, as low as 2,000 feet by the time we get into Wednesday. The big question is will there still be moisture that'll generate snow? We'll take a look at that in just a moment. But here's how it looks in the big picture. We're going to see that freezing level get down as low as 1,000 feet on Friday. And you know what? There could be some at least foothill level snow by the time we get there. There is a second system moving in, so I'll tell you about that in a moment. So here's the way that it works. Is again, I don't expect snow to start like sticking and accumulating at Snoqualmie Pass until around midnight tonight, when we see the temperatures drop and those snow levels drop down to that 3,000 foot level. So by 2 a.m. on Wednesday, and see in the upper right hand corner there's a little clock. So we get to about 9 a.m. on Wednesday, and boom, this is when we expect the bulk of the accumulation to take place, is basically between about 2 and 9 a.m., at which point Snoqualmie Pass could have 7 inches. So right now it's not that big of a deal, but by the time we get into the early morning hours of Wednesday, it could be. Stevens looks like it could pick up some more additional snow as well, and the entire Cascade Range and the Olympics look like we'll do really well from this by the time this system is all done. 10 inches at Crystal? Yes, please. 8 inches at Hurricane Ridge? Absolutely. So as far as rainfall potential goes, again, this is a very widespread and very robust, wet, compact system. So we've been seeing a lot of heavy rain, especially up towards western Skagit, western Whatcom, and San Juan counties, and a lot of that crossing over to Vancouver Island as well, where they had that heavy rain earlier. So by the time this system is done, looks like we could be picking up an inch, possibly an inch and a half in places like Mount Vernon. And again, that's drought-busting rain. It's good stuff. It's just not great during an evening commute. So we go through the rest of the night tonight. This is 10 p.m. on Tuesday. You notice that most things have converted over to snow in the upper elevations there, and it's still raining steadily up and down the I-5 corridor. Now, because of the wraparound nature of that moisture coming in clockwise around that low, you notice that now the heavy rain right around midnight tonight will kind of start to taper down towards the southern portion of the I-5 corridor, but up towards the north, still very active and seeing a lot of snow in the mountains there as well. well. Now, something interesting happens right around the middle of the night there, where it looks like we do see that snow kind of taper in the mountains, but as the low moves on shore, it looks like that rain will be back again on Wednesday morning. Not as heavy, as widespread, or as steady as it was on Tuesday evening, but again, folks down towards the south, the southwest interior, the state capital, and even off towards portions of Hood Canal are going to be in the rain through the morning. Now, by the time we get to about 5 p.m., we're still seeing some flurries fly in the mountains, and we're still seeing some light showers down towards Chehalis and Olympia, but you can see this thing's pretty much tumbled out of here and it's done. But take a look at this. We go into Friday and another system moves in. This is Thursday night into Friday in the very early morning hours. This is right around 3 a.m. And yep, we could be tracking some more steady, periodically heavy rain, especially from Snohomish County southward down towards Chehalis and Olympia. And yes, more flurries may fly. And as we saw earlier, there's going to be some very low snow levels then. So it could be interesting down to about 1,000 feet. Take a look at this. By the time we get to about 9 a.m. on Friday, some of our foothill communities could be looking at some flurries fly. I personally live at about 1,000 feet, so I'm pretty excited about it. So wind has been one of the issues with this. The National Weather Service jumped out in front of this and basically told us that, hey, we're not really looking at a big wind event here, but what we are looking at are some Fraser outflow winds. There's something we haven't said in a while, but take a look up towards Bellingham. Right above Whatcom County is British Columbia, obviously, but that's where the Fraser Valley is. And when you get this particular type of setup, you get those winds that come in from the north and east. They're dry, they're cold, and that's what was creating more rainfall up towards Skagit, Whatcom, and the San Juans, but also it's going to make it extra chilly, and there is the potential for more snow in the mountains there. Now, by the time we get to about 8:30 on Wednesday, this is early Wednesday morning, now we're starting to see those winds back off, but they are still coming in from the north and east, so it's going to be chilly. By about 5:30 on Wednesday, now we start to get back into more of a zonal flow pattern. All right, I want to talk to you about bridges. You ever notice that you see that sign that says bridge ices before road? Why is it that bridges are more susceptible to freezing than the roadway? Well, take a look at the graphic here. You notice that with bridges, the air can go underneath and below those bridges, and so what you get here is that the bridge concrete is losing warmth faster than actual asphalt or whatever road materials are. So you can see a difference of about 2 degrees there. The bridge is 1 degree below freezing, the road is 1 degree above freezing, and that's why a lot of times you'll see cars that will slide out coming into those bridges, and you see those signs. So just a reminder as we go into this winter driving season that that sign is real and that ice is real, and you can slip and slide very easily as you come upon those. Speaking of which, it's going to get cold and it's going to stay cold. So overnight lows will be in the mid-40s across Puget Sound. That's about 2 degrees below average. But then as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, not only do temperatures dip into the 30s, but could get down to the freezing mark even at sea level on Saturday and Sunday. So not only are roads going to freeze, but there is the potential for pipes and pets and plants and those kind of things to need to be protected as well. So please do be very careful there. Take a look at your 7-day forecast. We will be in first alert until Wednesday morning, and then after that the system moves out. It'll kind of let up on as far as the moisture goes, but then that's when that cold moves in. Take a look at those temperatures, struggling to break out of the 40s by day and getting back into the 30s overnight. So yep, that's it, our first alert of the season. It's going to get cold, it's going to stay cold, and watch for this weekend. Friday we could be tracking some low-ish level snow around 1,000 feet, and this weekend it's going to get down to the freezing mark for almost everybody. So make those preparations now, pull down the big sweaters, pull down the quilt, and get ready to keep yourself warm. As always, we want you to stay safe, we want you to stay warm, and keep looking up. I'm King 5 Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett. Have a great, very safe night.